Hello everyone! Welcome to our channel Into the University. This channel talks about a variety of things happening inside universities, shares thoughts and experiences, as well as answers questions to give better understanding in academia, technology, and research. My name is Jinho Choi. I'm an assistant professor of computer science at Emory University, Atlanta, Georgia, United States. Ready to be inspired? Let's get to it! In this episode, I'll explain how to properly prepare graduate applications so you can bloom with your full potentials in a more advanced level. Before we talk about how to apply to graduate schools, we all know that what counts more is how well you do after you get admitted to a graduate program. If you're serious about being successful in the long run, I'd highly recommend you to make a good exercise routine because once you dive into a field like computer science, your sleeping days are over. At least during your earlier career. Why is that? Because research and development involves a continuous thinking process, and you often cannot call a day just because it's time to go to bed while you are coming up with a new original idea. Of course, you can do this during a daytime, but most people, including myself, concentrate better when others are not around, and that usually happens to be at nighttime. How many attempts that I have made to do this at pre-dawn hours, which I'm going to try again next week. But the biggest villains here, at least for me, are the paper deadlines, as we typically work until the last minute because research papers can be always improved, and we want to present as high quality work as possible. These deadlines really break our life cycles, not as much when you're young, but it really gets you as you get older. I used to perform just fine the next day I took an all-nighter, but now it takes several days to a week to recover. Therefore, if you do not stack up stamina through regular workouts while you're young, your body will not be able to hold up at one point. You know, I should not recommend you something that I don't do, so I'll make an exercise routine myself for the following week, which I haven't been doing for years, and let you know how it goes. How many of you are with me on this? Please send me a note of your success story if you wish to share it with the rest of our community. Now, let's talk about a graduate application. There are 4 major things you need to prepare: your transcript, GRE scores, letters of recommendation, and a statement of purpose. In this episode, I'll talk about the first one, the transcript, and I'll discuss the others in the following episodes. Does GPA take an important role for your graduate application? For a master's degree, absolutely. Because what the program really examines is whether or not you will be able to complete their coursework, because you can earn the degree by finishing the coursework with a certain GPA. No research is required. Performance shown in your current transcript gives a good estimation of how well you do for their courses as well. One thing to keep in mind is that your major GPA matters more, since that is the only type of courses that you will need to take during the master's degree. So make sure to put more effort on your major courses, as you probably already do. What about for a PhD degree? The first 2 years of a PhD program are not much different from a master's program, at least in US. So the school wants to make sure that their PhD applicants are also adequate enough to take their graduate courses, in which case, yes, GPA still matters. However, a majority of the PhD program is taken by research activities that are weighted much more heavily than the coursework. Therefore, your research ability matters a lot more, which is not necessarily described in your transcript. This is why you need to also prepare the other 2 materials, letters of recommendation and the statement of purpose. Are students with high GPAs more intelligent than ones without? I honestly don't find much correlation between students' GPAs and their intelligence levels. Then the question is, why does GPA matter so much? To me, it demonstrates how consistently the student can perform regardless of one's condition or environment. It is extremely difficult to maintain a good condition for 4 to 5 years in college, and you will encounter few unfavorable environments for sure during these years. You may get sick, break up a long-term relationship, or just do not have a good chemistry with your instructor. Any of these factors can put you in a handicapped situation. So what matters is not that you get an A in your course, but how well you can overcome difficult times like this. If you happen to have a low GPA, but have learned a valuable lesson from it, or managed to get the best out of the situation, make sure you elaborate it on your statement of purpose because people need to hear your story. Some of you may be thinking, I don't have a high GPA. I'll never make to a graduate program. Well, I don't want to lie to you. Having a GPA lower than 3.0 out of the 4.0 scale will make it more difficult to get into a graduate program. In this case, you probably want to build up another record that can compensate the shortcoming. A common mistake that students with low GPAs make is though, they try to find alternative ways of compensating their GPAs without making further effort to do well on their coursework. This often leads them to have even lower GPAs. In consequence, it decreases their chances of getting into graduate schools. So, please do not give up on your coursework. If you have already tried everything you could, yet still cannot figure out how to do better on your coursework, you should start talking to people around you and see what they suggest. It can be your friends, parents, classmates, advisors, or any others. No need to be shy on asking for help to accomplish the goal you are passionate about. As a matter of fact, there's no one I know who has accomplished something great without getting help from others. Then, what kind of record can you build to compensate your GPA? You need to start a project that provides an evidence of your academic excellence. In other words, you need to show that you are capable of understanding advanced work in depth and delivering high-quality work to the field. If you feel like lacking backgrounds in the field of your interest, perhaps a good starting point is to survey state-of-the-art papers in that field and write blog posts expressing your opinions about them. One of my PhD students, Han-hee, did not necessarily have the best record when he applied to our program, but had gained his popularity among the research community already for insightful blog posts of this kind, which convinced me to admit him as a PhD student. And I'm so grateful, as Han's contributions to our lab have been irreplaceable. Once you learn enough about the field, you should start a project that can illustrate your own ideas. The amount of novelty does not really matter at this point. What it matters is if there is any. When you have some result on your project, write a research paper about it in a well-known journal or conference format, and submit as a preprint to online venues such as Archive or ResearchGate, so that you can get feedback from others. After enough iterations of revision, feel free to send the paper out to researchers in the field for further comments. Most of them will not get back to you, and there's no need to be discouraged. But thanks to social media, it is easier than ever to present your work to the world and build a strong portfolio that shows what kind of amazing things you are capable of doing. As soon as someone starts listening to you, it is just a matter of time that the rest of the world will listen to you, and that includes graduate programs you desire to go. Thanks for listening to our channel. You can listen to this podcast through YouTube, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and many others. So please don't forget to subscribe. In the next episode, I'll continue to explain how to prepare for a graduate application. So stay tuned. See you next time.